panel tonight. We got Peter Bradbury, good to have Pete back on the show, Steve Thomas, and Tom James making the reappearance on the show. So it's a good panel. I'll go to you, Steve, first, because obviously you and Pete were both at the game on the weekend. But so if we talk about the Lincoln game, I'm also going to talk about the Chelsea game as well, and talk about the games to come. But from what I could see of it, and admittedly I was in South Wales watching on a screen, but it seemed to me that up to like the 60 minutes mark, we were looking great, and it also heading towards that period, just after half time, scored probably one of the best move goals I've seen all season by any club.
I'd agree 100% with that, Steve. First half was kind of even, I think. The unfortunate own goal by Alex Robertson past the deputising Matt Turner in goal. So we came out the blocks fantastically at the start of the second half with chance after chance. That is, say, one of the best one-touch passing and movement goals that we've seen for quite some time. But as I said before we went on air, I did notice that after one of our attacks, one of the Lincoln players went down. You think he probably was genuinely injured, but all the players went over to the manager and he changed the formation. He went to 5 at the back, so both of our wings were effectively negated. And then Lincoln started doing much better after that. I think it was a period of sort of 20, 25 minutes at the start of the second half where we thought, come on, just a question of how many we're going to get here. We got into loads of good positions always, but didn't hit the back of the net. But then I heard an interview afterwards on the radio in the car on the way back where the manager had said he changed it to 5 at the back. And that seemed to make them look a lot better. I was also very disappointed, I have to say, that we were undone by a basic corner and header at the far post, which we could just about see because it was incredibly foggy. In the first half, we could barely see Kean Ashford on the right wing because it was so foggy.
Yeah.
But I think we didn't help ourselves on the way we conceded the goal. And then Lincoln actually almost scored another goal after that as well, where they put it over. Then we had a fantastic chance in the first half when Yusuf Salek hit the crossbar. I think there may have been a slight deflection off a Lincoln defender. But I think that the overriding message that was coming out from the Lincoln side was what a great team we were and what great support we had. Lincoln are good at what they do, but unfortunately we I think it was a step too far effectively after the Chelsea game, and we had, of course, won 5 games on the trot before that. So I think we just got to look forward as we've done before. If we can bounce back and win 5 on the trot now, as we did after the last defeat at Blackpool, I think we'll be doing quite well.
Okay, Pete, just to say, I'm not hearing you particularly well. I know everyone else can, so I might be on nods, winks, and whatever. What's new? But there's a comment here from Lee Griffiths following on from what Steve said. I just wonder what your thoughts are. We're very poor at dealing with high balls into the box.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I thought Conor Bradley, who scored the goal, was a constant menace, and the only way Lincoln were going to score their second goal was through a corner, and the way they did. I happen to think the fog played a large part. Turner didn't seem to pick it up. Normally you'd say a goalkeeper should come and deal with it, but he was unable to do that because it was it was low fog, very, very difficult to see. And Conor Bradley had a great game for them, actually dominating centre half, and he scored the goal. And those balls that were coming in the box were very difficult. And to understand it, I think you got to understand Steve's point about how bad the conditions were. I actually thought we were terrific for 25 minutes, mind, in that second half. The goal we scored, one of the best team goals I've seen in many years. And then we should have scored 2 others. Winters hit a shot he should score. The keeper's made a terrific save. We created a few chances, particularly going down Kean Ashford's side, and I think that's why they made the change. I don't know what Steve thinks, but I think that he was having so much joy and was causing so many problems, as was Kellyman, who was anonymous after they went to 5 at the back, but beforehand had been excellent. But what worried me was a little bit of the lack of ideas once they got their goal. I felt we went a little bit. We went too gun ho, whereas we actually should have tried to keep on doing what we were doing, which was proven to be very successful. But overall, I think in the last 6-7 weeks, we've been very, very good. 2 points per average each game, and we've had a terrific cup run. I mean, this is a Christmas show, Steve. I'm guessing I'm going to have a look back as well, look forward. If you have a look at the clown who was in charge this time last year compared to the manager we've got in charge now, I think it's night and day. And I think this side will win the league and win it quite comfortably. But we're going to have days like this. I mean, I thought the Lincoln for support was terrific. It was clearly a massive game for them. I would not be surprised if they came up with us. I was really impressed by how they play in that Sinsel Bank, even though it's long ball and direct. It felt very much like a cup game for them. Where they were, the atmosphere was huge. But I just think if we keep on picking up 2 out of every 3 away wins, like we have been doing, and win our home games, we'll be fine. And this manager's doing a great job.
Okay.
All I hope is the board don't do anything daft in the meantime to stunt the momentum, which they have done many times over the last 10 years.
Okay, well, they haven't done anything daft yet this season, so we'll wait with bated
They're
breath.
staying quiet, Steve. Thankfully, and that's
why wouldn't they? The club doing so well. Why would they disturb that? Tom, are you concerned at all at the way we're top of the league, we're averaging 2 points a game, we were the only League One side in the quarterfinals of the cup, having an amazing season, but we seem to be starting to sort of concede fairly silly goals. Any concern with that?
Slightly. My concern is the rotation side of things. We haven't really got a spine. We're not keeping some of the players playing all the time, like Lawler and Fitch at the back. That's my concern. It's the rotation side of things. Obviously, you have to rotate, but we need a sort of spine, don't we?
Yeah, particularly in defence.
Yeah, massively in defence. Lawler, I think, is not going to be at Cardiff a long time. But he's on the bench quite a lot. Chambers has the odd game when he's really good, and then he falls back into making lots of mistakes. Too many mistakes. So, as good a player as he is, I still feel he's playing in the wrong position.
Okay. Because I thought, he has had his moments, Steve, hasn't he, Chambers, when he's coming in and out, and amazingly, he's the captain, he's coming in and out, and mostly when he's come in for some of the bigger games, you can see that he's played at a high level, and he's got a lot of nous, as a footballer.
Yes, we do tend to forget that he did play in the Premier League, and he has played 4 times for England. So he's no slouch, and he's one of our older heads, not somebody of his age. I think he's just 30, isn't he? So I think to have just one player over 30 in the squad is quite remarkable. I think to go back, Steve, I know Pete said earlier on that we'll be reflecting a little bit on the season. To think where we were in at the end of April, beginning of May, where we got relegated with a bit of a whimper, something we've not seen. I've only ever known in the time I've followed Cardiff City has finished bottom of the league twice. The first time was the first season of the Premier League, and then last season, which was awful. But the reset that we've had, a lot of people, including me, were saying that it's not a good idea to go down. We need to stay where we are. Well, actually, it now gives us a chance to blood our youngsters playing for ourselves rather than sending them all out on loan. I know Joel Colwell did a good job last season in the 2 clubs he was at on loan, but he was elsewhere. Now we've got the plan for Cardiff City, and as the chant goes, that we are playing the Murphy way. So I think we need to stick with it. We need to do what we've not done for so many years and stick with this manager. Whatever happens, we've got to stick with him.
And what Pete's talking about there, whether he's talking about players and or management, I suppose it could be either. But in terms of something daft happening from upstairs, I mean, I can't see anything significant happening at the moment for a number of reasons, particularly as we're doing so well, but also with what's we all know is bubbling under in the background. So I don't think we're in for anything major. But I don't think so. But in terms of style, here's a great one, Steve. The Chelsea match, right? So we're a League One side, hopefully only for one season. I hope it is a tour, like we got the T-shirts, yeah. But I hope it's only for one season. And like you say, it's vibrant. We're buzzing. We're winning games. We're scoring goals. Playing lovely football. We're top of the league. Great, right? As long as we go up, it's all fine. If we don't go up, it's a totally different story, right? But in terms of the cup match, wasn't it? Don't you think admirable that we absolutely didn't change our style one iota for multi-million pound Chelsea, no matter what they say about playing their reserves. And we just went for it and we played our game and we just got on with being Cardiff City. I thought that was fantastic.
Agreed entirely, Steve. Talking about they didn't play their big guns, the total transfer fees on their bench was just shy of 400 million, I think. And when you're bringing on the quality of players that they were, it was very, very difficult. I mean, yes, it was a great shame that Dylan Lawler passed it straight to Chelsea and they broke away. We would generally get away with things like that in League One. We are not going to get away with it with the quality of players Chelsea had against us. But it did increase our exposure as well. I saw it was on a clip that came up on my phone from Talk Sport the next day with Jason Cundy talking to somebody about how good
I saw that, yeah.
And I can't remember the person he was with, basically said, they're Cardiff, they're League One. This team's League One. They're playing this well. And the atmosphere, the noise, the scene just shows you what we could be if we could just move up again. And I think, again, the key thing here is we're playing football the Murphy way. Let's stick with it. Because, yes, as one of, I think, Michael Evans has said on the on the chat here, we do concede easily. If we in League One, we're getting away with it on occasions, but we won't. We get back up to the Championship. We have to sort that out. But at the moment, let's enjoy the ride. To come back to what you're saying as well, it's becoming increasingly difficult. Thankfully, I've been okay to get tickets for away games now. We are selling out away ends. I mean, could you imagine that if you'd have said a year ago, to come back to what you said earlier, Pete, you'd have said a year ago, we'll be selling out away ends. You'll have to have gone to 8 away games to get to these games. It's just fantastic, isn't it? That we are taking to and go. Everybody's going to new grounds as well. I mean, I've been to Lincoln before, but not for goodness me, probably around 30 years. So it's a whole new thing, as you said there, Steve. It's very, very important that we get promoted this season because the novelty is there. We're going to these grounds that we've either not been to before or we've not been to for a very long time. That would soon wear off if we're down there for another season. I'm enjoying the ride, but I want to finish in the top 2.
Yeah, and thanks, Steve. And Pete, obviously, in the lead-in, like as we commented there, is in recent games, playing relatively kind of low-level clubs. And they're scoring goals for fun against us. And it's weird because at the start of the season, like Doncaster putting 3 on us. I mean, like what's going on, isn't it? And we shouldn't have to score 4 goals to beat Doncaster, really. So what's your take on that? Because we started off, I think, the first 10 games, you had an unbelievable defensive record.
And we still do. It's still the third best defensive
overall.
record.
Yeah, it's good overall. Yeah.
And we got a massive goal distance, plus 15. I think what's happening is that teams have come to Cardiff trying to play a low block and we've destroyed them. Plymouth, teams like that have come and tried to just defend their 18-yard box and get through it. And what's happened since, Leyton Orient came in about October, decided to have a go, got a bit of joy, scored a couple of goals, and teams have just thought, right, we might as well come to Cardiff and have a go. So I think that's what's happened in the Cardiff City Stadium. I think teams have come at us and have been a bit more open at Cardiff, which has suited us, and we've gone on and scored 4 or 5 goals in games to win games. What happened on Saturday was we didn't take our chances. We weren't defensively, apart from when the own goal went in and Turner had to make that double save, defensively we were under no pressure whatsoever. It was just we hadn't taken the chances to kill the game off. If we get that second goal, we go on and win that game. And that's unusual, but I don't think we're conceding easily. I think what's happening is that the goals that are coming, that are being scored, we're having a run where teams, I went to Bolton, it's a screamer. You won't score another goal like that all season.
We've conceded some worldies, we have, yeah.
And
it's high press.
Yeah, and Tom is right. That's the way, because you're pressing high. Tom's saying it's a high press. So when you're pressing high, you're forcing teams further away from your goal, and they're having to shoot from 30 yards. And the goal that came on Saturday comes from a corner. It's come from a shot that's deflected for a corner from 30 yards. So that's what I think's happened. There are positives coming up. Tanner's going to be back soon. He was on the bench on Saturday. We are doing this run of form without the best player in the league in Rubin. And I think Dylan Lawler's learning a little bit on the job. he gave away a sloppy goal against Chelsea, but he also gave away a sloppy goal against Wimbledon. You're going to have to put up with that with a talented 19-year-old defender. And the only way we can concede goals, I think, is if there's worldies or there's good quality crosses coming in the box like Saturday. So I'm not worried about Saturday, really. An own goal and a goal from a corner beat us. I think ultimately the way we played in that 25-minute spell after half time where we weren't on top, we destroyed most teams playing that way. And we just didn't put them away on Saturday. We made you on Friday score 3 or 4.
Yeah. So what Pete's saying, there's a lot of sense to it. And Tom, that goal we scored, all of a sudden, like everything just opened up. It's just a beautiful, beautiful move. More of that, please. And we destroyed probably any team in this division. There probably aren't many teams in this division, I don't think, who could do that to us. Tom, would you say?
Yeah, I agree with that. But I agree with that. We are having, I think, lots of chances, but we're not burying what we should be burying. But we're creating the chances and getting in the right places. One thing I have noticed is we're not taking a lot of shots from side box, or taking chances. And against this lower level keepers, I think we should be testing them a bit more. That's my only sort of gripe with that. I do think Trott is the best of the league. I am slightly biased, but he is phenomenal, and he's got us out of a lot of trouble. So hanging on to him will be key going into next season. But yeah, it's just about creating chances and just taking the chances, really. Because if we took the chances, we'd be okay. But then on the flip side, our defence is quite good. But when teams seem to high press us and be aggressive, we seem to knock it around the back a bit and run out of ideas. So that's a bit worrying from that perspective. But as a whole, we're doing really well.
And Steve, going back to the Chelsea game just a second, sort of following on a little bit from what Tom and Peter have kind of alluded to, really, because we do have such a young squad. So Dylan, we were still playing from the back, and but to have the audacity to try and do that against Chelsea is something. I mean, he was caught out, but again, we play our style. Do you still think, or do you think that sometimes we overdo the playing from the back stuff and create problems for ourselves?
We do, and I think a lot of it takes years off my life when you got Nathan Trott doing a Cruyff turn on the edge of the 6-yard box.
So doing dummies and whatever.
So an Adrian Alston turn there, of course. I thought what you said before, but I think yes, we do.
That's right. The Adrian Alston turn. Yeah,
we tend to get away with it, and it's a basic premise is if we've got the ball, the other team can't be scoring against us, and teams try to press us. We're not Manchester City, but similarly, we're not playing Manchester City either. So teams try to press us, and we can play through that press. Generally speaking, we do get to move the ball forward. It's very rarely this season I've seen us not move the ball forward. Again, I come back to what Pete was saying about a couple of good saves from the Lincoln keeper on Saturday. Bailey Peacock Farrell was in goal. The Northern Ireland goalkeeper was in goal for Blackpool, and he had an absolute blinder in the first half. We absolutely nailed them to the wall in the first half. We just couldn't score. And then Blackpool scored early in the second half, and it all went pear-shaped after that. We let in 3 goals, got a goal right at the end from Salek, put one in. But I think, we are, to answer your question, Steve, yes, we are causing ourselves problems. However, I think it's the way we're playing now, and it is such a change to what we were used to in the last year under the last 2 managers we've had. I think it's a complete change of style, and I think if we're going to move forward, this is the way to go, I think.
Can you imagine Bullet
because stuck with the plan, haven't we?
Yes.
Can you imagine Bullet approaching that Chelsea game? I was a fan of Errol Bullet. I thought he was solid enough. But we played Leicester one time in between. I did this show in between Christmas and New Year, Steve. And we played Leicester at home. And it was like we were just lucky. The way he set up, it was like we were thinking we were just lucky enough to be on the pitch with Leicester at home in the Championship. What's refreshing is this manager doesn't care who the opposition is. We're going to play our way, and if we get beaten, if we concede 3 goals, fair enough. And they were really good Tuesday. again, the performance was decent enough at times on Saturday. You're gonna give away chances playing this way with young players, but ultimately there's more upside the way we're playing at the moment than there is downside. We're easily the best side in the division. I think they'll look stupid in 12 months' time potentially, but it wouldn't be the first time I've looked stupid on this program in hindsight, Steve.
I couldn't comment.
I think in a year's time, this side, with a couple of good additions in it, and by good additions, I mean young, hungry additions who fit in with our system, could be challenging in the top 10 of the Championship next year.
Yeah.
So I've watched a bit of Championship football lately, and I don't think it's anywhere near it. We're anywhere.
No.
We're not miles off it, you know.
So that gives me a chance, Pete, to say I want to say one thing, and I want to put a question to all of you, which is a really good thing for us to discuss. I watched a little bit of the Swansea Wrexham game this week. You know, just have a look at like the other teams in Wales. You know, I was hoping for a draw, to be honest, but it wasn't good. Both sides looked poor. Wrexham looked the best team. But they managed to. There was a clown mentioned earlier. You know what was going on with that goalkeeper? He almost threw it into his own net. It was unbelievable. Swansea was so lucky; it was unbelievable. But above and beyond any kind of lack of warmth towards or rivalry towards our rivals, neither of them looked anything for us to fear at all. You know, and they're both kind of there or thereabouts Championship clubs. So the point here from Martin Ryan's a really good one. I'll go to you first, Pete, then I'll go to Tom. We are missing Ruben. Even though, of course, we had a 5-game winning run, he maintains the intensity of our attacking threat. We've allowed teams back into games. He occupies their players, and they can't switch off. So how much do you go along with Martin's comment there, Pete?
Yeah, I agree. I love Ruben Colwell. I think Ruben Colwell makes any team outside the Premiership a better side. Not just so in League One, I think he's a phenomenal talent, and I get really annoyed because we've had this discussion. You know how much of a fan I am of Ruben, Steve, and we've had this conversation over the years when we were in the Championship. There seems to be a tendency amongst a few people involved in either supporting our football club or involved in the in the know crowd a little bit to tell us what Ruben cannot do. He can't defend. He doesn't try. But I don't want him to do that stuff. I want him to, if there's any criticism, I want him to be adding the goals to his game that his play deserves. But there's no player that is better than him in that position in terms of on the ball and trying to make things happen. And look, he's injured. I think we've done well. We've tweaked our system. Because Ruben we've not got an orthodox 10 now. We're playing a little bit with 2 8s, and his brother Joel's a talent, by the way. And I always think we're a better side when he's in the team, and Alex Robertson. Yeah. But I think he's been really, really good. I think there's no doubt that any other team in League One would miss him. I think any team, if he in the Championship, if he was in there, would miss him. And on about Friday's game, I watched a bit of it. I just to see I was out of curiosity. I'm agnostic about Wrexham, to be honest. They always have been. They will never be in the same class of rivalry as Swansea and Bristol City are to me. But I can agree more with what you said. What my takeaway from the game was that if these are two teams, Wrexham have spent £30 million. We were aiming to be mid-table or higher in the Championship. Then we're already there. We've got to win this league we're in now, and games like Saturday make me wound up about why we kept Omar Riza last year. If we'd have had this guy in the Championship, blooding these youngsters in the Championship, we'd be in a far better position as a football club than we are. And I think that's what annoys me. It's like the Virtue Trophy game when I went to the Virtue Trophy game against Newport when Newport beat our kids, and I remember I said to Wash, yeah. Well, I said to my son afterwards, what wound me up was even being at that game. We should not. This football club should not be in this league, and the fact that we are as a fate, and I don't care how many interviews he does, but Omar Riza was out of his depth for large parts of last season. Should have been let go a while back. They should have been making this decision a few years ago to go down this route, because this is a more sustainable route for success for our football club. Playing the way we're playing, and we're going to have to put up with some of the, and I get angry, but we're going to have to put up with some of the mistakes that are being made.
I've never seen you angry, Pete. I don't know what that's like. I can only imagine.
But Ruben Caldwell, to answer your question, we do miss him, but I think we're still the best side in the division without him. And when if we're still picking up points over Christmas without him, can you imagine how good we're going to be in February when he's fresh and ready to go?
It's going to be great. It's going to be great to have him back, isn't it? Tom, if you can hear us, okay. We're talking about Ruben, how much we are or not, and missing Ruben Caldwell. Bearing in mind we had that amazing 5-game run, didn't we? You know.
He's instrumental in Ruben, I think. I'd probably give him more of a free role, if I'm being perfectly honest. But yeah, it's difficult consistency, really. But he's very, very talented. You can see that. Confidence, getting to get the confidence and give him a bit more free role. So I would suggest. I would definitely miss him.
What about, like Pete said, I agree. I think Kellyman's a class. He's going to be a class footballer. That's for sure. He's got a talented player. He hasn't quite nailed down a place yet, but he's having a good crack at doing that number 10. Until the formation change. Don't you think, Tom?
Yeah, definitely. But again, I just think the players need to be played consistently. You can't expect players to be on form when they're not consistently playing. But I think he is starting to come out of his shell a bit. And you can clearly see he's talented. And you clearly see he's fitting into our system, which is quite nice.
Yeah, Steve, anything to add on that? On either, on the number 10, number 10 conundrum.
Yeah, I think we are obviously missing Ruben because he is, as Pete highlighted very well, he is the best player in not only in our team but in this league. I think he is absolute class above. But we have adapted and we have kept the good run going. On Kellerman, at times he looks unplayable, but those times are quite rare, unfortunately. For example, when we changed our formation against Leyton Orient, when we were losing to Leyton Orient, him and Capaccio down the right were absolutely ripping them apart. And we got back in the game nicely there. I'd also like to come back to your comment about the game on Friday night. I caught some of it as well. I saw the build up to it where Lee Trundle, who's not known for being a great fan of Cardiff City, was saying it wasn't such a big game as Swansea against Cardiff City. And the amount of times I heard the commentators mention Cardiff City when we weren't involved was actually quite refreshing, quite encouraging. They're all still obsessed with us, which is great. And we're not even in the same league. Can I also make a further point as well? It struck me that we're really enjoying this season. Hopefully, we can go up. Compare that to the season that Wolverhampton Wanderers are having. Yeah, and they're in danger of breaking Derby's record. Yeah, and they could hopefully be playing them next season.
Yeah, and we might also be playing West Ham.
Yeah.
It's and if we could just talk about Championship football just a little bit as well. By the way, that's an interesting comment again from Martin. I think there's a little bit of that in there. It was sort of after the Lord Mayor's Parade a bit. It was quite a really hard thing for us to do, take on Premiership team in midweek and then travel up to Lincoln and then go again. He's talking about them being mentally drained. I think there must have been an aspect of that, particularly when the second goal went in. I'm talking about Championship football. What I wanted to mention was because my daughter's very nice boyfriend is a Birmingham fan. So people in Birmingham can be nice people. He's all right. So that shows it can happen. But it's interesting in the Championship, isn't it? The 3 clubs that came down, including, funny enough, Leicester, like there's kind of nowhere. And all of a sudden, those other clubs, it's a really strange season in the Championship. And if that were to continue next season, as Pete says, if we go into it with a winning mentality, you'd think we'd have a chance of being at the right end of the table, Steve.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, let's walk before we can run, and let's get in the Championship first, obviously. But yes, from what I've seen, again, we've had, apart from the 2 seasons in the Premier League, we've had just shy of 20 seasons in the Championship. And I think a lot of it is it's refreshing to be in this league and have so many people, as I said earlier, who can go to new grounds or revisit grounds they've been to a long time ago. There is that, and we are getting great support. All the teams we're travelling to, including Lincoln on Saturday, are commenting on how great our support is compared to what you get elsewhere. And also, it seems to be a bit of a cup final for all the other teams we're playing. I understand Exeter has sold 1,500 for Friday. Mansfield brought 1,300, and when Exeter only get 5,000 at home, it's quite impressive to be bringing 1,500 away, really, isn't it? So it's a big game for all the teams we're playing. And everybody's enjoying it. I'm enjoying this season, but I want to be as Pete says, I want to be seeing if we can not shoot you down, Pete. Obviously, I want you to be right. I'd like to be challenging in the top 10 of the championship next season, and I don't think there's anything particularly to fear if they come down, because Wolves are going to have a complete reset. Goodness knows what's happening in West Ham. And unfortunately, of course, we'll be losing our friends from Sheffield Wednesday, who look like they'll be coming down anyway. So it'll be an interesting season. Hopefully, we'll get through this season first, but hopefully have a good season next season as well.
Well, just to say, obviously, you can't shoot Pete down because he is Pistol Pete. So, it's technically impossible. But I'll let you have a first answer to this one, Steve, and then I'll go to Pete. But again, this is a good question here from Martin Ryan, if I can get it to show here. Which of the two? I think I know what we're all going to say, but which of the two teams on Saturday do we think are going to go? Have the best chance of would be best prepared for the championship?
Okay, yeah, good question from Martin, as you say. I would say
you want to answer that one, Steve?
Yeah, I would say it would be us. Because of the way we are playing. Lincoln are good at what they do, and I don't think they would be able to get away with it, for want of a better term, so much in the championship. However, I do think they're going to be there or thereabouts, because they are a very, very strong team. Know what they do. They seem to have a good manager as well, who seem to know how to change things. Which, of course, he did have a plan B, which he brought in after our 20-25 minute spell in the second half on Saturday. So I think that they'll likely be there or thereabouts. I don't care where we come as long as it's in the top two.
Correct. I agree. What about you, Pete? Is that a very simple answer for you to that question?
Yeah, we're the best prepared, but I think Lincoln will come second. I was weirdly, because of the reasons Steve has given, actually, I was really weirdly impressed by Lincoln, even though I would not want to watch that style of football every week. They did. There's not many teams in this league who can take a game where you're getting absolutely destroyed by the best team in the division, footballing wise, like we were doing for that 25 minutes, and stay in there, hang in there, and find a way of getting the points, Steve. And I thought that happened on Saturday. I think they'll go up, but they'll struggle when they do go up. The best prepared outside of the top two is Bolton, because that's a club who shouldn't be in the championship either, or Bradford. You look at Bolton, Bradford, teams like that. If they went up, I don't think they would struggle in the championship. Lincoln looked like one of those sides who were going to who deserve to go up from League One. It would be very tough for them in the championship. But I think if you ask me today, we'd win it and they'd be second, because I don't think many teams are going to beat them at Sincil Bank. And then you look at Bradford, Bolton, and all of that behind, who are big clubs, and if they were in a championship would be fine. That's my opinion. But as Steve says, we've got to get there, and I think Saturday could be a weird good thing for us. Suddenly we've lost away at Lincoln, we lost away at Bolton, and it's suddenly like, okay, every time we've needed to switch back on, we have. And I think Friday's a big game for us, and I hope the several thousand of the 33,000 that went to Chelsea go to that Exeter game. Yeah. Because it's Boxing Day. Wouldn't it be great to see some of those red seats sold? I mean, that's this team at top of the league. They deserve the support.
Yeah, I think we might. I'm not sure whether we fill the red seats at this season. I'm not sure we will. We might right towards the end, maybe, if it's something really hanging on it. But it should pick up in the second half of the season, hopefully. Tom, do you want to quickly answer that question there from Martin? He's saying which of the two teams on Saturday now, first and second, would be best prepared for the championship?
Definitely us, I think. Slightly biased, but definitely us. I think we'll add, with the manager we've got now, he'll have the right caliber of players, Jan, which will strengthen our depth for them to push them second half of the season. At Lincoln, I think if they do go up, they're going to struggle massively when they go up. But I think that in a weird way, we needed to get relegated because now we look before, and looking at the two other Welsh teams in the Championship, I'm quite confident we've given both a really good game and beat both of them. As we are now, we definitely give both a game. So I think it's just a few tweaks from us going up, and we should be in a better position than we have done for years in the Championship. I can see Swansea going down now. Before.
Well, you know.
But
I've asked Santa, but he's not responded. You know.
I think Oxford are definitely going down. I think Swansea will be thereabouts down the bottom with Portsmouth and teams like that. But Oxford and Sheffield are obviously going down, I think. And hopefully Swansea go down. But then again, on the flip side, I think Wrexham will be up. Not this season, but next season, weirdly enough.
Yeah, well, obviously that'd be a nice problem to have. I'm going to let you answer this one first, Tom. Then I'm going to go to Pete, and I'm going to go to Steve. If we had three positions, can you give me three positions in which you think we need backup or possibly or reinforcement in the transfer window?
Left back, definitely a left back. I think a creative winger who's good on the one-to-one side of things, who can create a lot, because I think we have lacked a bit of supply with a striker. Maybe alternate midfielder as well, gives us different option midfield. That's the three I would go for. But
yeah, that's a good call actually, particularly maybe a left-footed midfielder. Pete, what's your thoughts?
Yeah.
Would you agree with Tom largely?
I agree with the left back. I think we need a striker as well. I'd like us to have someone. If we're not going to play Isaac Davis up front, I think we've only got two strikers with Robinson and Salek, and I think you need another. I think we need another Salek type striker. So then you've got four options there. You've got two target men options. You've got a Robinson and a sort of Davis option if you need to play him in that position. I definitely think we need a left back. If we're going to, particularly if we bring a left back in, I think that'll help Louis Giles because he can go out alone and get first team experience. We need a solid left back. And I wouldn't mind us getting a dominant centre half, even though the central defenders have been okay. You know, I think having a dominant centre half who can head the ball when you're under pressure in the last 10 minutes of a game and they're throwing long balls in the box like they were Saturday would be good. But I don't think we need three. The last one for me is a like to have. I do think we need a left back. I do think we need another striker. I think we're okay in every other position, really.
Okay, yeah, I take your point, and I think that's a good one. That, you know, I feel sorry actually for Robbo in a way. I mean, he's a quality player, Steve. He's you know, he's not that old. You know, he's still championship standard for sure in my opinion, and he does score goals, but he's not a like for like, is he, with Youssef? So, you know, like Pete says, we haven't got that kind of physicality really from anywhere else apart from Youssef, you know. So maybe that's a position. What do you think about possibilities?
Yeah, I think first of all, I like to think and hope that we've got enough to get out of this division with what we've got already. But I'd 100% agree about a left back. And there's been talk on the internet I've seen about the winger from Manchester United, Biancheri, who allegedly has been to the training ground already. Who could be?
He had a past year Greg's apparently.
Yeah, he's got to be signing then. But yeah, I think we could strengthen everywhere. Go to your point about
got to be signing. Yeah,
I think the problem he's got is that he's never really sure what his best position is, and whatever it is, he doesn't seem to be playing in it. So he's not Yusuf Salek, obviously. We could potentially do with some backup there, but I like to think we've got what we need. It would just be a question of hopefully getting the right players in just to push us that little bit forward in January, because we have actually got quite a good record of bringing in decent players in January. Thinking likes of Sorry Cabba.
Yeah.
Just one example. Tommy Doyle came in January as well. I seem to remember. So yeah, I think hopefully we will do what we need to do to get out of this division going forward. Also, just change go back to the managers. Obviously, Omar is the last season not so good. I see that I read this afternoon that Errol Bullett's been sacked by Antalya Spor after 10
Is
games.
I didn't see that, Steve, actually.
He was technical director there, and so he wasn't manager. But and it is Turkey, so anything could have happened in terms of the Turkish football. Is seen as notoriously, how can I say this? Was allegedly notoriously corrupt.
I think you're okay with that.
Allegedly, but yeah, I mean the thing. I think whatever happens this season, then we still have, as a football club, haven't had the long, hard conversations of why we're here. You know, why we're in this position, why we're in League One. Because actually, I don't want what I wouldn't want to happen now is get promoted with these kids and then actually turn our back on the thought of actually trusting you. One of Omar Reese's most shocking statement was in the summer was Dylan Lawler wasn't ready. Ronan Capacchio wasn't ready. You know, all right, okay. So Dylan Lawler played brilliantly against Aston Villa in the FA Cup, and you watch that game and you don't play him again. You know what I mean? There were players that genuinely he threw some of those kids to the wolves last year. How is Joel Colwell going out on loan last year, not play when we're struggling in midfield? You know, it's ridiculous. And I think they do still need somebody at football level on the board. They still need all of these things. But frankly, that I'm genuinely. And I know Sai interviewed him on this channel, but I'm not interested in anything Omar Reza says. He should never work in football again after what happened as a first team manager, because his judgment. If you don't think Dylan Lawler is ready to play in that Cardiff team, considering how many goals we were conceding, your judgment's flawed. And we this season, what I am most impressed with is the kids have come in and they've taken to it. Well, I mean, I think Capacchio's got defensive issues. I think he has to learn to defend better, but he's 18. You know, Ashford.
He's amazing for his age.
I know. Ashford's looking like a top winger at the minute at this level.
Yeah.
I think we've seen some of the best of Isaac Davis for years since, and he's been injury-free. Touchwood. Joel Colwell's been excellent. We're starting to see Alex Robertson, by the way, play well again.
Yeah.
You know, I like this is with the tool. I thought all the ingredients were there a couple of years ago for this club to have decent seasons in the Championship, and it was because of poor decision making by the board.
We totally underachieved. I mean, that's for sure.
And poor management by people like Omar Reza and Steve Morrison before him, and a few people like that. You know, and I think I'm really annoyed with at this level. We didn't need to have a reset in League One. We should have had it in the Championship. But as Steve says, it's one of the most enjoyable seasons for years.
It is. Yeah, it is.
But I can't. But if we're looking back on 12 months, I did that. I've done this show lots over the last 20 years. In the last 3 or 4 years, Steve, we've had the same questions every time we've been doing it, and if we go up, which I think we will, it has to be a proper new start, and it has to be a new start looking to get out of the Championship the right way, not the wrong way. And I think that'll be interesting to see where we are in 12 months' time. But let's win this league first and get promoted.
Let's have that problem. We haven't got that problem yet. I wanted to ask Tom something, and again, it's another good question, which will go around them, because, like you said, we're about 3 games now from the halfway point. We've played most of the clubs who are there or thereabouts, so we can we can talk a little bit more about that, about who we see. And we've already mentioned it. I think Bradford are going to be right there myself, but we can also look at players who've come up against who impressed us. For example, the game the other week when we won against Doncaster, I thought their right winger was great, Molyneux. I thought he was excellent.
Luke Molyneux.
Yes, such a good player, But apparently he's too old. He's 28, but I think he was excellent, and he gave Joel Bagan probably his hardest time of the season. So the question, I'll start with you, Tom, is this one from Martin. Are there any players we faced this season? I'll go with Molyneux. We faced this season that we should sign in January. I mean, basically, who's impressed you with the other clubs, if anyone?
Players. Maybe there. Look at play.
Are we hearing Tom at the moment?
No.
Okay. Steve, I'll come across to you and I'll go back to Tom then. So I've asked the same question because you've been to loads of games home and away.
Yeah.
Who's impressing you?
Particularly, I can't think of his name. The late Orient striker. I thought he was excellent against us.
Ballard?
Yeah. He was excellent. Also, not that we need a keeper, but I was particularly impressed particularly impressed with the Blackpool keeper who also plays in goal for Northern Ireland. But apart from that, I think I'm not sure we should be looking. Well, it's a really good question. I'm not sure we should really be looking at players who are going to be good in League One. I think we've got to look beyond that, and I think getting the contacts that BBM has got. Getting some more young players who and help bring them on. I think we've helped Kellyman. If we bring in Biancheri from Manchester United, that's going to help us as well. I think we should be looking more to get the players in to help us get promoted rather than having a deal. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you want Ballard, it'll cost millions. Sign a 4-year deal at Orient.
He's the one, though, isn't he?
He's in answer to your question, he's the one who's impressed me the most.
What about you, Pete? You obviously like
Well,
Ballard.
I'd have said Dan Ballard, but because he's got so much upside, he's a player on the way up. But as Steve's picking it, again, if I'm looking at a striker, I do like Todger, who's at
good name, isn't it?
Yeah, because he played Talaj, in it. Sorry, not Talaj. Yeah, but he played against us.
They call him Talaj, don't they? I think. Yeah.
He played up front for Port Vale and caused us all sorts of problems at the start of the season.
He scored loads of goals.
He's gone to Plymouth, a team that are not doing very well. He's got 11 goals, and again, if you're looking at someone to back up Salek, he'd be it, but we won't get in. But Ballard is the one. He's the best player I've seen all season outside of our side. And as Eli's Wood says,
he's also very good.
If you get that in, if you get him in, it's a player. It's millions of pounds, but it's a player on you. But I'm torn on Biancheri, right? Because I think it's a great signing, great player, lovely guy. But again, it's one of those things where I think a Premier League academy have come in, stolen one of our best players, haven't found a first team route for him, and now we're sending him back to us. And I think football needs to deal with that problem. We weren't adequately compensated. It's not Biancheri's fault by any stretch of the imagination, and I think it's good that he's coming back. But it just highlights.
You think he might be
that scandalous issue that you can nick a player from a lower category academy for £250,000 when he probably, if he'd stayed, would have got in the first team at some stage here, and would have been worth millions for us potentially in selling him. So hopefully he comes in and he does us a favour, gets a lot of goals. But the interesting thing is the profile of play he's looking at, Steve. We're talking very traditional. But he has said he wants players like Kellyman who can play in 3 or 4 different positions.
Yeah.
So that he can, so that if he has to, we can. And you can see why. If we're 1-0 down, you can throw them all on at the same time, and we can overpower teams. That's what he's thinking.
And change formation.
Exactly. And you could change it. So it'd be interesting because that Bianchieri signing, well, he can play across the front four, can't he? So
yeah, I don't know much about him. He only plays for Wales under-21s, I think. I know he's with us, obviously. You know, he's got a great name. Sounds like a footballer.
It's from Splot.
Yeah. Well, there we go. You know. Yeah.
But he's
Cardiff.
Well, Ely's a posh end of Cardiff, Steve. But but he's a player again who he can either play him out wide or he can play, or he's a traditional go down the channel type.
Yeah.
It's like Isaac Davis, only he's been playing at Manchester United, and like that would be a good signing, I think. I don't think we need loads. I was actually looking at it the other day when we were looking at when he said that everybody's fit now, you know, and then Ruben got injured at Northampton. You once Ruben's back, if we keep him all fit, God, we got some options. I mean, I am really looking forward to seeing Ollie Tanner back in this side. Because I think he offers something other wingers don't. He'll directly run at players and put. So I think it'd be interesting.
So I wanted to, Tom, I don't know whether we can hear you very well at the moment, but how concerned are you about Trott? We don't know how long he's going to be out for. Don't think it's a major injury, but you know how much we worry is that we can with Jack being wherever he is with his family. Looks of it, we got Tanner, Turner rather, and that's it. You know, there's no one else. Is that a worry for you? Or even for Steve, seeing the screen's gone black.
Yeah, it would be. I think, unfortunately, he got a hand injury towards the end of the Chelsea game, didn't he? I'm not really sure that BBM said too much about his rehabilitation time.
I haven't heard much.
A little bit worrying. You hope that Matt Turner could step up, but yeah, that is a concern because I think we all agreed he's been absolutely outstanding for us this season. I think probably 10 or more points he's got for us this season. With some of the
player of the season, isn't he?
Absolutely.
So far, isn't he?
Absolutely. Again, coming back to I was impressed. Not that we get Blackpool's goalkeeper, but I'm impressed by him. I think the other player who impressed me was Connolly for Orient. I think.
Yeah, I liked him too.
He got the
He's
PFA,
a handful, isn't he?
Yeah, League One Player of the Month in November, I think. So again, a very, very good, very, very good player. It is a concern about Trott. I hope he's back for Friday, or if he's not back for Friday, I hope he's not out for very long.
Yeah, and Pete, starting with you, obviously quite brave, really, you know, and quite a responsibility for Turner to come in those circumstances, having had any first team action at pretty well any level for ages. Generally, he looks quite promising keeper, doesn't he?
I saw him play against Pontypridd United for Aberystwyth, and he scored off a corner to Turner, and he had a good game that day. Yeah, he had a good game, and he was a couple of years ago. I'd be interested to hear what Steve thinks about the second goal, because I think if he's not foggy, he comes and claims it. But I don't think he could see it, and you can see he's. But again, the own goal wasn't his fault. It was just it was just a
fluke.
Unlucky. He made two terrific saves at the end of the first half. I think he's fine. You know, he's a good goalkeeper. His distribution's good. I think he's a better option than Anik. I think Anik was letting a lot of soft goals in last year, but because there were other players making mistakes. I mean, I remember Stoke away when he came out 88 and gave away what would have been a hard-earned victory there. So I think you want Trott back because Trott's a special keeper at this level.
He is.
But if he's not playing, Turner will be fine. But I don't think he'll be out for. From what they haven't said, it's a lot.
No.
He genuinely does say when it's a long-term injury. He genuinely tells the press the truth. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him back. It might be a bruised hand, and he wasn't. And he's got this rule: and he said he didn't train.
Yeah.
So what his rule is: if you don't train by a certain time, you don't play. So I think that could have been if he's in training this week, he'll play.
All right. So I just want to give you a disaster scenario, right? So I don't really think this is going to happen. Let's say Trott's injury is way worse than we think. Let's say he is out for a month or so. I'm totally just absolutely speculating, right? Let's say I'll ask Steve first. So let's say if it was to happen, and he was out for a month, and Jack is, we all thought Jack's going in January. There's something going on with the family, I think. So I don't think he's even at the club at the moment. Then immediately we're in a position where we'd have to bring in another keeper, aren't we, as a backup?
Yes, we are. I think to comment on Jack Hannock as well. Jack Hannock played in the pre-season friendly at Notts County, and then they had our first game of the season the week after, and BBM preferred Turner to him for that game, despite the fact that Trott hadn't come in. So again, he clearly wasn't wanted. So yes, we will be in the market for I wouldn't want Ethan Horvath back. I understand he's leaving Sheffield Wednesday, probably going back to the United States. I wouldn't want him back. I thought he was a bit of a liability for us last season. Okay, it was a difficult season for everybody, but it was a bit of
America's number one.
Well, number 3 allegedly. So there you go.
Apparently,
yeah. Yes, we would have to be in the market for another keeper if it is a nightmare scenario. But as Pete says, BBM's generally been very honest and upfront with the press. I'm sure that it would have said it if it was longer term, as he did with Ruben straight away. Now Ruben was a massive loss, of course, but he was not backward at coming forward and saying how long Ruben was going to be coming out for.
Yeah,
so
absolutely straight away, wasn't it? Yeah,
rather later. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Maybe we'll hear by tomorrow or whatever. Hopefully, put our fears to rest. Tom, I don't know whether you can hear us and you can contribute, but okay, we only got a couple of minutes to go, but we were talking about if Trott was out for a while would be a concern and what a good great keeper he is. But equally, in the Chelsea game, of course, Joel Bagan went down as well, and I thought, blimey, we can't really afford to lose either of them. And Joel was weirdly substituted on the weekend, which I don't know as precautionary, but it kind of goes to show that maybe the squad is, could do with a little bit of beefing up. Do you think?
Yeah, I do think he's getting played too much. I think that's because of his quality, and obviously, that's running the risk of him getting injured. We have got Turner, but if he's out long term, I suppose we'd have to then go in for another keeper, just in case the worst case scenario happens, and then Turner gets injured because if he plays too much.
Yeah, we haven't got a keeper. We didn't have a keeper on the bench on the weekend, did we?
No. I can't see him going in for another keeper in Jan. I don't think.
Well, you hopefully would need to,
No, I don't think Trott will be an injury, I believe. I don't think he'll be out long term. I just think he just played Turner. But I do think he's playing Trott too much. But I think because he's so good, that's probably why,
Here's another scenario, Steve.
Turner gets in. It kind of has to, I suppose.
Here's another scenario, Stephen, right? Say if Turner comes in, plays well for a month, Trott comes back in, but Turner's had a brilliant month, right? Isn't it time Craig Bellamy gives Turner an opportunity in March? Because because he might be the only Welsh goalkeeper actually playing, going into what is a World Cup playoff. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Trott will be back in on Friday. That's, that's what I think will happen. But I think Matthew Turner has been fine this season. He had one bad game against Wimbledon, but they all had a bad game that day in the Virtue Trophy. So we'll see. But I think goalkeeper. My issue is, can we sign this? Can we make sure this guy is signed up for next year, Trott? Because he's probably the best goal. He's in that legends category for me of David Marshall, Neil Alexander, Gavin Ward.
Already?
Yeah, I think he's brilliant. Ron Healy, I've been told was good when I was a kid. That was my dad's favourite keeper.
I love Ron Healy.
But
I'm sure Steve did too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He's in that. I think he is in that top echelon of goalkeepers that we've seen down here. Okay. And it's not a League One thing. He's playing against worse strikers. I thought he was terrific Tuesday against Chelsea. No. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. He looks. I want to see him down here long term. I don't know what you think, Steve, but that's.
Well, we're right at the end of the show. for reasons people don't really need to know. It's been one of the most technically demanding ones so far this year, but there we go. So we need to talk about those couple of games coming up. One thing with Trot, I noticed he was added to Vince Evans has got a supporters forum on Facebook, and his dad has joined that group. So we'll take that as a good sign. But so we got the double header on to come. We got Exeter and Stevenage. If we were to win those two, we're in cruise control again. Give me predictions, Steve, for those two games.
Okay, I'm going for two wins, 3-0 on Friday and 2-1 or 1-0 against Stevenage.
Excellent. Tom?
I think 3-1 next game. Following game 1-0.
2 wins. We like it. Mr. Peter of Bradbyshire.
Yeah, I think we're going to win both games. I think we're going to batter Exeter, actually. I think it could be a 3 or 4-0 win. I think someone's due a hammer in Cardiff. I think it could be Exeter. I think Stevenage will be much more tougher. And they don't concede
a lot of goals. So well, don't they?
Yeah, they don't concede a lot of goals. So I think it'll be a 1-0 win. But Exeter's had their first win in months the other day. I don't think they win in Cardiff, and I think we do beat Stevenage. And then it's set up for what will be a very, very good test up at Wickham on New Year's Day.
Yeah. Okay. So we've overrun. It's been a great show. Lots of good content.
Christmas special, Steve.
Christmas special. Yeah. I didn't wear the hat, But just to say, this is the last live one now before Christmas, and then on the 29th next week, hoping to have a special for you with the wonderful Gary Bell, which I'm hoping to be able to put together for you for that one. And then for the following 2 weeks, Steve Wiggy Wiggins is in the chair. So I can't quite go two Ronnies because there's only one of me. But from me to you anyway, have a wonderful Christmas. Happy New Year to all City fans. And thanks for supporting the show. Happy Christmas all. Cheers, guys.
Merry Christmas all.
Happy Christmas.
This channel is powered by an incredible membership community on Cardiff City World and patreon.com/Ace Podcast Nation. Becoming a member unlocks exclusive rewards from early access to live event tickets, bonus content, and even the occasional inside transfer scoop when we get it. But more importantly, it allows us to bring you top quality Cardiff City content 7 days a week. Across those 7 days, we're talking match previews, exclusive interviews, instant match reactions, the breakdown podcast, tactical deep dives, the Spotlight series, Bluebirds Rewind, Academy Focus, and just so much more. Led by myself, backed by an army of passionate Cardiff City fans, this is content created by fans, for fans, balanced, professional, and 100% all about the club we all love. If you enjoy what we do, then join the community today and support what we are doing as we help to keep Cardiff City World flying high.